Just quieten down, baby.
Per capita export value.
Libraries.
Minister, are you embarrassed by your behavior today?
There's a lot of bleeding hearts around.
Do you have the fortitude or the gonads to stand up and come across here and say that to me, you son of a bitch?
Just watch me.
He certainly went too far, Mr. Speaker, when I saw him stick his tongue out.
Contemptuous disregard.
More than a slab of bacon talking here.
The disappointment you also feel is my responsibility.
I lost my temper. What is the nature of your thoughts?
The word was F-A-R-T.
Hello and welcome to Canadian Politics is Boring. I'm Reese and with me is Jesse.
Oh,
who's eating birthday cake.
This birthday cake because it was my birthday.
It's Jesse's birthday.
Oh, not today. It was soon. It was around the time of this episode, but not quite the time it was released. But
did you have a good birthday?
Oh yeah, so much sugar. Mm.
Yeah,
it's great. Oh yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
Do you have anything nice or?
You didn't even know it was my birthday. I didn't know it was your birthday.
I don't care. So
yeah, I got that. I definitely got that feeling at all.
I didn't know. I struggled to remember my own, so don't take it personally.
No, but you did send me a delightful video of you dancing.
Well, you asked for it, so
I did ask for it. Yes, yeah. But you did it. You actually did it. And it was the silliest dance. Your legs were swinging off to the right and the left while you were clapping,
and then you turned into a GIF.
I turned it into a GIF. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, exactly.
Great.
Exactly.
Just repeating on loop. You dancing forever.
How did you feel about the Battle of Ottawa during your birthday, or did you not pay any attention to it?
I don't pay attention to that shit. You know that.
I sent you a link. To a live stream.
Mm-hmm.
I
opened it and I watched it. And I'm like, oh, literally nothing is happening. People are filming the protesters, and then I think it was the protesters filming. I don't know. Nothing was happening. Absolutely nothing. So.
But anyway, this is what this episode is going to be about. This
again,
but no. It's going to be because do you know what? I was watching it all, and I started to record some audio and put it together and go, "Hey, let's talk about what happened." But then I'm kind of like, it doesn't really matter what happened. I think what matters more is about what happens after it, if that makes any sense.
No, but yeah, okay, whatever. I don't care. I mean, I got cake. I'm happy.
You're talking me a mouthful is disgusting.
It's a mouthful of cake, buddy.
We're going to get a 1-star review from this cake munching.
Great podcast, interesting history, horrible fucking cake eating.
Yeah, exactly. If you like people eating cake, if you like cake crumbs being sprayed into a microphone, you'll love this show. 1 star. So, but anyway, the reason I want to talk about it is because I kind of, when I was watching it, I was one of those people going, "Yay, finally they're gone. This is kind of been crazy. Why didn't they move them out sooner?" But actually, afterwards, now I'm kind of more worried about the future than I was about what was happening then. That's what my
of course, because it's not like these people disappeared. They're still out there.
Exactly. So,
I will comment on one thing, and I was telling people about this when I went onto our Twitter feed and I saw what you posted, or not posted, but retweeted what other people have said. And I'd love to think this is true. This might have been tongue in cheek. This might have been completely made up to point out the ridiculousness of the nature of the whole thing. I don't know. I'd really, really love to think that this was true, where a large amount of unmasked, anti-vaxxed convoy protesters gathered in a crowd and then mysteriously started getting symptoms of an unknown illness.
Yeah, there was a conspiracy. I thought that was amazing.
Right. And all of the symptoms just happened to coincide with COVID-19.
Exactly.
But in no way, shape, or form could it have been COVID-19 because, and I'm not making this up, at least this might have been made up, but not by me, because it was clearly radiation sickness from the government's secret laser rays that they used to attack the crowd with.
Exactly. That's where it couldn't possibly be COVID.
Please tell me that that's true.
I don't know. It's social media. You got to take it with a pinch of salt, or a grain of salt, as Canadians say.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just like, oh my God, so amazing. And see, this is what I've been saying this for years. Okay. You can't fight crazy. You cannot argue crazy. You can't do it. People try it. Hold on. Let me go. I think I've gone down this road before, but just let me bring it up again.
Okay.
You can't fight crazy. You can't argue crazy. You can try, right? But you'll never get anywhere. You can try like, okay, someone with their crazy ideals have come to me and telling me their crazy ideals. I've got this giant bag of logic and facts. I shall surely win this argument, says every person on the planet who tries this and fails every single time. You can't argue with crazy, but you can out crazy them. It's really, you get on their side, you agree with them, totally lying, of course, but you just agree with them, backing up everything that they're saying. And then together as a group, you then start talking about your ideals to a third party. And then you go even fucking crazier than them, making them question themselves and making them question you. Like, hold on, wait, I didn't subscribe to that. What are you talking about? What? No. Like, anyway, it's the whole like laser, the laser ray, the secret government fucking laser ray. How can you outdo that level of crazy to make them question their own sanity?
But this is what I want this episode to be about. The fact that you do have a large group of people who now are well funded internationally and nationally and have a national support base. So this is
how are they well funded?
They raised millions, like from around the world. Donations would be made, which is why one of the reasons the Emergencies Act came in was to freeze all the funds that were pouring in, because like they had a convoy there for 3 weeks. They had hot tubs, they had saunas, they had supply of fuel and food. It was incredibly well organized and well funded for them to be able to maintain their presence in Ottawa. I
got to say, I don't care who you are, that's impressive.
Exactly, and that's the thing. That's the thing that's more scary. I mean, I've got some audio for you. So it was a really surreal. I grabbed some audio from some different live streams. And as the police were surrounding the convoy that had been there for 3 weeks, the mood there was really surreal. So I'm going to just play this audio for you. It's a mixture of different things I'd kind of spliced together.
All right.
They basically, somebody is explaining what to do if you get arrested, or what happens when you get arrested.
4, 3. So, you have the right to remain silent, you have the right not to incriminate yourself, you have the right to ask for immunity, you have the right not to talk to the police unless you have legal representation, you have the right not to ID yourself unless you're under arrest, and you have the right to say, I do not answer questions, and walk away. But do so tastefully, respectfully, and cooperatively.
And then what happened was you had people shoveling snow. They were building snow forts to try and stop the police.
I saw that! They know the police's secret weakness. Snow.
Keep listening. There's someone describing the snow shovelers.
The desperation in people's eyes really tells a lot.
Which we have the right to do. So thank you so much for standing here with us and being on the right side of history.
I stood up here a couple of weeks ago and I said that I will go broke standing here. I want you to know something. I cashed my first RSP in 4 days ago to pay some bills. So, Jason, I would take a bullet for that man any day. So, I'm not going anywhere, and I've met a lot of amazing people too.
So the party atmosphere had completely gone, and there were people talking about how to get arrested and how to make a stand. And then this happened, which was really weird. It's an a cappella performance.
And the dogs started joining in.
Exactly. So you can kind of see like all that party atmosphere.
I was really waiting to see if he could hit that high note, and he did not.
No, he didn't. He kind of
not that I could, but just
exactly.
Yeah.
So like as that happened, I was like, oh, this is the end. They sound so demoralized. Everyone's just explaining how best to get arrested, and they've cashed in like some savings.
Quite impressed with their organization skills, like honestly.
Yeah. So and then I was kind of like, oh, but then I started noticing that like the logistics camp was moved outside of Ottawa quietly. The police didn't even like attempt. They focused on downtown, but there was this logistics camp feeding supplies to them just outside of the city, and they dismantled it quietly and moved it onto private land. It's now built on a farm somewhere else outside of Ottawa. So they kind of the supply chain still exists that was there, so they could easily continue to kind of keep launching new protests and feeding them.
Can you tell me, because again, I only get my news through you and my friend Ryan.
That's worrying.
Yeah. That's wonderful. I gotta tell you. Can you sum up, because I know it started with like, we want to be able to cross the border without vaccine passports. Is it entirely still about that, or has it evolved?
It kind of is evolved. So it was kind of hijacked by the kind of like right-wing media globally, which is why so much international money kind of came in to support them. And then also
it was about what? Sorry, I totally blanked off. I was thinking about cake.
It started off as like a thing about crossing the kind of border with a vaccination, and then it kind of evolved into something else. And generally it was just loosely people who were angry about all the lockdown measures and how it's affected their business, and also people who want to murder Trudeau,
right?
All these different things. But honestly, like, there are people who are getting pulled into this who have just had their finances and way of life affected by like, you know, the what was happening during lockdown, and they're so,
I mean, everybody's
scared, angry, upset that they've been pulled towards this. So the danger is that this has been a really kind of like effective protest that has been a great recruiting tool and has unified all these different kind of like fringe groups, is unified the far right, is unified all those smaller anti-vax protests you used to get for the last 2 years. They've all been scooped up by this kind of single movement. It's unified a bunch of fringe groups in one place, and like they're still really angry. So press, like TV crews were being attacked in like Ontario and BC. I've got an audio clip of a huge group of people chasing a CTV crew to their
Why were they chasing the news? What did the news fucking do?
Because they think they're lying. They like telling them that they're ashamed of them and that they're part of like the you know, the secret government lies and everything we're being told. Let me play this clip to you. It's terrifying. First of all, they're running away with their cameras, and then the second part, they're in the car and they're surrounded by.
Is this video? Can you send me this? I want to see it.
I'll send you the video, but this is the audio.
I want to see the video.
Hey, you want me to carry the sticks?
Shame on you, you disgusting, filthy human being. Shame on you. Disgusting, filthy human being. You're a filthy human being. You're disgusting.
Keep this guy, he got Trudeau dollars. I don't get paid by Trudeau, no, that's not true.
Go home, you lying
So right now they're in the car and they're surrounded completely by all the protesters again.
Stand behind me. You're recording this, right? Because I don't know how we're gonna get out of here, buddy. It's gasoline.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
I don't know, man. Like, that's amazing. I don't know if I call it scary. It's amazing. If
that was you and you had to have a police escort out of...
I didn't see the video, but like, if it sounded amazing, I would have been like, I don't know. I'm all for a big story. If something crazy happens to me and I can get a really good story out of it, I'm pretty happy usually.
Yeah, so. But I think they were like genuinely terrified.
Really?
I'll send you the video. It's pretty scary.
You
should have seen the look in those people's eyes.
You were saying they're disgusting and you're filthy and you need a bar of soap and a shower and maybe a nice hot meal and
some Axe spray.
Have a blankie and maybe a nap, and what's wrong with you? You're funded by Trudeau and whatever,
but in my head, like that was
This is not scary. This is not terrifying. This is not scary. It's a bunch of yelling. It's a bunch of yelling. That's all it is. If these were violent, like there's other countries where protests become incredibly violent and murderous, actually fucking murderous, and that shit is scary. This is a bunch of angry people yelling in your face. That's it. Like if this had actually broken out where people were being murdered and set on fire and shit, like yeah, I'd be scared for them. But it's a bunch of angry fucking yahoos who are just trying to make a big splash and they want to be heard. Everyone wants to be heard, and no one's listening. Everyone's screaming.
I agree with you. I personally, I would be intimidated if I was in that situation. I wouldn't necessarily think I was about to be set on fire, but it wouldn't be nice. Like, people are getting spat on and everything.
Sure. No, I wouldn't use the term terrifying, or, it's not, whatever. Interesting, fascinating story to tell the kids later.
Exactly. But here's where my mind goes, and like, this is like, so you think about it, like, a lot of the people have been recruited because they're afraid right now, understandably so. Everything's been weird. There's a lot of fear being going on, and during the pandemic, people.
I will say that I don't know a ton about world history and world events and wars and other protests and regime, like dictatorships and whatnot. But like, these people saying that they're oppressed, and these people saying that they're genuinely terrified for their lives and their freedoms, don't know what they're fucking talking about. I can say that much.
No, but also
confidently.
It was relative though. They might have lost their ability to earn money because they lost their jobs because they don't want to get vaccinated, or for economic reasons. Maybe they got laid off by their companies. So
sure.
A lot of people, and I think that fear in some people has turned to anger. And
of course,
and the danger is this is really widespread. And like,
fear turns to anger, turns to hate, hate turns to suffering.
That CTV crew could have been shot by lightning from people's fingers. They're lucky that they didn't. but some of the things that I found really interesting was that a lot of the protesters in the live streams were crying at the police because they genuinely believed the police would turn and join them against Trudeau, because a lot of them were kind of like, I was back the blue, and they supported the police and sided with the police during like the BLM protests and things, for instance. I
can understand why they think that the police would join them. As my buddy Howie says, the police weren't there doing a job. The police were there networking.
Well, exactly, but then when they actually cleared them out, they were like really shocked. So a lot of them were like, I think they trusted the institution of the police to like side with them in the name of freedom. And a lot of them now, they already distrust the media. They distrust the government. There's not much, if you're starting to distrust a lot of the main institutions of government, you don't really see, there's not really much left for you to believe in terms of Canada, in the state of Canada, or like the
that's true.
So that's the danger, is that kind of like now they've been through this. There's been this rallying call. They're well funded. They're well organized. They don't trust anyone at any level of the government anymore, especially the police. So
I can't blame them, honestly. It's been a really weird number of years where like misinformation is now a fucking commodity.
Exactly,
it is. It really is, right? And like, it's so like, do I agree with them? No. Can I blame them? No. I get it.
And also, I don't think politicians do a great job of like actually. I don't know. I just don't think politicians generally are good enough to deal with how complex this is. That's right.
I mean, look at us. We do a horrible job of figuring out how complex this is.
No, exactly. But like, we don't pretend that they just have to stand there and bullshit that they know and they can fix everything.
I would love just fucking once to have a politician be like, I don't know what to do, guys. Anyone have any ideas? Like.
But also, there's like. So a more extremist part of a minority has been united. And I'm not saying that everyone who supports the kind of thing is got the potential to be an extremist, but there are far-right extremists in there, and this could make more people be willing to be more extreme if they're more disenfranchised with government and the country. And even like, you can remember during the election, I said about the fact we talked about the PPC splitting the conservative, like the right vote. The vote on the right wing, and I kind of my point was that that's not what happened in the UK. It just dragged the mainstream conservatives further right, and that's exactly what happened with during this. Like, Erin O'Toole is gone, and now they've got
which is sad, honestly. Like, he was a great Muppet, and I think it would have been it would have been really neat to have a Muppet as a prime minister.
I personally, I don't think he was that mainstream, or he used to be, and then he kind of like became more populist right just to kind of become leader. And,
he liked banana bread, so
he did love
lightsabers. So
exactly,
I think he was always a little left leaning.
So the mainstream Canadian political party, like they call, there's not many progressive left in there now to be a progressive conservative party.
I think I've summed up the extreme left and the extreme right pretty well, honestly. Like, just in really short, sort of concise sentences. The extreme left being, we need to take care of the planet and we need to aggressively take care of everyone around us. And the extreme right is, I don't care how many people die as long as I get my money. I think that sums it up nicely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then the other thing as well is now they've got the Emergencies Act, which was to block the international financing. So like the People's Convoy official website, official Facebook group has like 87,000 members. Most of its administrators of the Facebook group are based in the US. Like Fox News aired 8 hours of programming about the convoy in Canada. So a load of money is flooded through in terms of donations domestically from the US and from Australia, the UK, from around the world. So the idea is that maybe while that individual like protest has broken down in Ottawa and won't happen to that scale again, the structure that allowed it to happen still exists, and it also made a lot of people there become celebrities and influencers and grew their influence for the 3 weeks who were there. And also, if you had 3 weeks worth of people all bonding together, feeling like it was them versus the world, they've all networked and bonded. You said like the police were there to network, but everybody else was there to network. You've got friendships and bonds that have been built out of that. Well,
it's something. You go to these places like a party. Right? Yeah. Like it's not, Have you seen 28 Days Later?
I have.
So I'm going to be paraphrasing because it's been a long time since I've seen it. But they show up to this guy's fort, this bunker, and they're brought in as guests because, whatever, and they're set down to dinner, and the chef in quotes, brings out eggs. And they're like, oh my God, we have eggs. Oh, what a treat. What a delightful treat. Please sit down. Let's have some eggs. And they start to eat. And the eggs are very clearly spoiled. And he spits it out. And he's like, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm sorry. I added salt and seasoning to it to try to hide the fact that these eggs were spoiled. And it didn't work. But he hoped that it would. I always knew that there were a great deal of uneducated, ignorant, dare I say, flat out stupid people. And I always knew that there was a lot of corruption in the world and that we were kind of hiding it with a bunch of salt and seasoning and hoping you won't really notice just how much corruption and just how many stupid people there are, because we've put a great deal of salt and Mrs. Dash on the top of everything that we show you so that you're really only paying attention to that. And for the past 2 years, this pandemic has shown me the massive amount of salt and seasoning that we have been trying desperately as a culture in North America, the world, to hide just how intensely corrupt politicians and corporations are, and just how incredibly stupid people are, which is tied together, by the way. Corporations and politicians desperately want to keep people stupid because it's easier to rule them. And it's just, I know that sounds like a conspiracy theory, but like it's not, no one sits on the throne twiddling their thumbs going, how can I rule more corruptly or whatever. It's all about greed. That's it. Just the quickest route to greed. That's it. Anyway, so it's mind boggling to me how many stupid people and how many corrupt people have come out of the fucking woodwork the past 2 years. I always knew they were there. I had no idea how much there were. Unfucking real.
Well, also, I mean, the
Jesse rant over.
No, that's fine. No, you can understand why people are against. Like, I mean, honestly, I kind of feel like something that would have diffused this massively is if Trudeau
hugs, Care Bears.
No, I honestly think Trudeau has become such a boogeyman for this movement that if he stepped down, it would instantly help diffuse partially.
Honestly, Reese, it wouldn't matter who. But was in the charge of the country. It wouldn't matter.
No. But my point is that a lot of it is so personally directed to him.
Of course, it would. But it wouldn't matter if it was him or anybody else. It would be personally directed at that person who's ever in charge.
But I think at the level of which it's directed at him is almost the same level as which we make fun of Stephen Harper on this podcast.
Yeah.
But so the government brought in the Emergencies Act, which has been like was used mainly for the financial aspect. So using powers to kind of
right. We want to stop them from funding themselves, so we'll call in an emergency act so that we can
accounts and
right.
stuff.
It gives them a reason to do that. Yeah,
but my argument is that in the short term is quite a smart way of stopping all this kind of money flowing and funding the protest. But if people have lost trust and faith in all the other institutions, if that includes they've lost their faith in their ability to do banking, then and have money, then once you take away
that's a good point, Reese. That's a really good point.
And they've lost everything, what do you expect them to do when they've got nothing to lose?
That's a really good point. But we're going to find out, though. Let's just
exactly,
wait.
And that's my point. Is that if you keep taking from them, even if you disagree with them and everything that's going on, the danger is, and I know that like they've targeted the organizers, and there's been misinformation saying, "Oh, this woman who was on minimum wage donated $50 and had her account frozen," which hasn't been proven, and there's all these kind of scare stories. But ultimately, even if you just target the core group, that core group could become a radical fringe group that were willing to do extra stuff that beyond kind of, you said like, oh, they weren't setting anyone on fire, they weren't attacking anyone in that group. But when you've got like a national network of people who are bonded, they know each other, they trust each other, and they're funded internationally by a global network, they can do a lot. They've already achieved quite a lot. But if the more extreme elements wanted to push it further, the unintended consequences of this is that they could. And if you've taken,
I mean, it's akin to like the homelessness problem, or even poor resident housing crisis, which is a lot of governments' immediate response to this is to just get rid of them, make them someone else's problem, but that doesn't. It doesn't make the problem go away. That just it's
like make a park bench that people can't sleep on because it's too uncomfortable.
Right. And as long as homeless aren't in our city, then it's not our problem anymore, is their sort of idea. And it's a horrible idea because they don't disappear.
No. No, exactly.
And so, them just doing everything they can to stop this protest without doing their best to address, as ridiculous as they might be, to address their needs and concerns. You're right. They're just going to keep building and building elsewhere, and then they're going to come back. Maybe not. I don't know.
But also as well, if you take away everything that matters,
this is a very serious episode, with the exception of my Yoda impersonation, but and eating a mouthful of cake. This is why I don't think we should do more modern episodes, because it's all very, very fucking serious.
Next episode will be something crazy from the past that's just funny.
I hope so. That's it. That's Reese's promise to you, dear listener. Thanks for listening to us rant about current events.
I haven't finished yet.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But also, I wanted to
you better hurry up. I want more cake.
Okay. Well, but my point is as well is that you don't even need a lot of people for this kind of well-funded network to cause problems. So, the IRA, the Irish Republican Army.
Not well.
So they operated from like the late 60s to 1969 to 2005. They only had is estimated about 10,000 members during that period, which isn't a lot of people.
Right.
But they effectively killed what's known to be about 1,700 people.
Jesus.
They for instance, when I was a kid, there were always bombs going off and in the news. So they almost killed Margaret Thatcher, the Prime Minister, in 1984. They almost killed the Prime Minister John Major in 1991. They set bombs off in Harrods. They used to do. There was a pub bomb in 1974 that killed 28 people. And they were funded largely by organized crime and donations from Irish Americans. And they had training given to them by Eastern Bloc countries in Europe and places like Libya. So this was a small group of people, but they were highly motivated because they felt wronged and they felt they had a cause to fight for. And they were well organized, they were well funded, and they effectively kind of really changed people's everyday lives, even though they were a very small minority. And I'm not saying that this is what it'll become, but it doesn't
just because these guys are well funded does not mean that they're going to become specialized ops overnight.
But my point is that small groups like that, they might not be setting bombs off, but they could effectively disrupt everyday life for the next 30 years if it carries on and maintains and sustains itself. It might be through peaceful protest, it might be through non-violent means, but it means that, you know, a small group of well-funded people with that network can you know, do a lot to disrupt everyday life, I think.
Yeah.
And then it disrupts politics, it disrupts your ability to kind of just do normal things and feel like you're living in a kind of civil country.
I haven't felt like I've been living in a civil country for a very long time, Reese.
And I've got something really creepy to play for you.
Oh, good.
So as all the truckers were being sent home from Ottawa, supporters were getting their kids to record messages and to send them to the truckers. And
who was sending who to what now?
So people who supported the convoy, the Occupy kind of protest movement, got their kids to record messages and listen to these.
Thank you for supporting and fighting for our freedom.
Thank you, truckers. I really hope that the government says no to the vaccines and masks again. Thanks for trying to stop the vaccine and masks.
I have to wear the mask at school. I can't breathe. And it's annoying how you have to get vaccinated to do things.
And I'm very happy you truckers are doing this so I can go back to my normal life and have fun with my friends, and so my dad can get back on the road with you guys. Because if it works out, then I can go back to school and see my friends again. Thank you, truckers. I really want our freedom back. Thank you, truckers, for doing this. Screw to Trudeau and keep on trucking. Go, truckers. You got this. You got this. And, truckers, ban him. Like, he's bad. You should ban him. Thank you, truckers, for keeping our life.
Jesus Christ, you should burn him?
Yeah, I find that heartbreaking.
Of course, they're just kids. They don't know any better.
But also, like, and the level
you shouldn't using your kids as leverage is disgusting.
Yeah, but also, you kind of go, but then if we don't address the issue going on now, and this carries on as a movement, those kids will be adults in 15 years' time. And if that's kind of the world, how they view the world is, the problem just perpetuates itself in terms of the division that's going on. So how do you get a household or a family like that? How do you engage with them? You know, if they live in your neighborhood, and how can you kind of like allow them to get to know people who see the world differently and kind of, how do you tackle it?
So it's, I mean, in my opinion, it's kind of a lost cause currently, and we do have to tackle the children. We not physically, because that would be horrible. Just knock them over. Yeah. There was a question posed a long time ago about, like, if you could change one single thing about this planet to make the entire world a better place, what would it be? And the comment thread was filled with all kinds of different wonderful ideas. And my idea was to have free, better, more universally accessible education for everyone. Because, in my humble opinion, almost every single problem that we face in this world today can be brought down to ignorance, a lack of education. Just not knowing what they're doing, not understanding the facts. As as Chris Rock put it, there's math, and then everything else is arguable, right? And when we have throngs of people who are uneducated, unable to access education, unable to access groups of people who it's just that's where all the problems stem from. Everything.
Yeah, and I think as well, like, mockery and dismissal.
If you have free universities, free classes with trusted members of, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying.
No, but the point I want to make is that mockery and dismissal of people isn't going to win them back to kind of
absolutely not. No, it isn't.
So
I agree with you on that. Of course.
So what point do we start to get them? at what point are we going to be able to get them kind of back around the table and kind of accomplishing
you and your reasonable fucking points of
but that's it, because those
being reasonable and nice all the time.
But the thing is,
I agree.
Those kids are probably not even in mainstream school. I imagine that because of the mask mandate, they might be being homeschooled.
They don't know. They're just repeating whatever their parents are telling them.
Exactly, but my point is that like it's not a problem that's just going to go away.
No,
and I don't think that politicians.
People don't know how to communicate anymore.
No, I just don't think they're very good at. They don't think they have the ability to really understand this problem and deal with it in a way that goes beyond how they're used to normally dealing with problems.
Politicians, I mean,
yeah,
I agree with that.
So I think everybody else is going to have to do it.
Well,
that's my point.
Starting with us,
exactly. No, that's my point. Is we can't just go. I hope there's going to be a new law or a policy or some kind of act that's going to fix this. It's not. It's something we've all got to do.
Well. All right, then let me put in our call to action, which is if you know someone who has a different opinion than you. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but aggressively being opinionated in the opposite direction of someone who believes differently than you, trying to get your point across, how often has that worked in convincing them that what you're saying is right? How often in the past number of years have you succeeded in changing someone's mind by yelling the opposite of what they're saying back in their face? And everyone's doing it now. You've got different sides pointing fingers, shouting angrily their opinions at other people who are angrily pointing fingers back at them and shouting their opinions back. How effective is this? Can we just take a step back and just really look at this and ask ourselves how? I mean, it makes us feel good because yay, anger, I guess, right? But like, how effective has this been? I'm going to say 0% effective. And the best way to start to heal is to you're right, Reese, you're right, is to build on communication skills. And that means listening. If everyone's yelling, nobody's listening.
But also, I would say don't tackle it head on. Don't go up, hey, you're the anti-vax neighbors on my street. And then you don't, you just got to just make sure you don't block or give up on people who you've seen share those things or talk about those things. Don't go, right, they're not my friend anymore. You can still be their friend and talk about the other 99.9% of other things that you normally talk about.
Right, exactly.
I think further kind of isolating ourselves, it only hurts more because they'll just go to people, they'll go, oh, fine, I'll just spend more time with more people who agree with exactly all the things I agree with. And that's the reason people are in that position in the first place. So I think it's not even like, it's just making sure that you don't consciously isolate people because of an opinion they expressed in the last month. It's kind of trying to let them know that people who don't agree with them are also human and still neighbors and still friends, and you can still have a relationship with them.
Finding common ground.
Exactly. Because there's so many other things you do agree on. You just definitely don't agree on this, and that's fine. You know what I mean? And the only reason
it's not fine, but it's a really good starting point.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Finding commonality and finding ways to communicate instead of jamming your opinion down someone else's throat and hoping that it sticks.
And don't hope that somebody else is going to come up with a magic formula to do it. You have to do it. That's my point.
So get on out there. Do we have a name for our Canadian politics is boring fans? Do we have our CPIBs? That's not
the CPIBs. I like the CPIBs.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So CPIBs. just be nice.
Just be nice. There you go. This has been a long fucking episode. I hope you edit this down. This is.
I will edit it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
This has been good. But yeah. So Jesse, are you worried for the future now or not? You still don't care?
I don't give a shit. No, we're done.
Good.
We're all gonna burn.
Well, you haven't got long left, so it's fine.
That's right. Yeah. Thanks. I better go eat more cake while I can. Yeah.
That's fine. Cool. All right. Well,
thanks for depressing me today, Reese. That was fun.
It's not. It's a positive call to action. Is going, hey, there is solutions. It is in the end. There's lots you can do.
Well, all right. All right. Fine. I guess.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Next episode is going to be fun,
historical one. I've got loads.
Fun.
I got loads we can talk about.
Okay, all right.
Do you want to preview the stuff we can talk about?
Sure. You got 30 seconds. Go.
So my list is, I've got 88 pages of notes.
Actually, no, you know what?
Oh, no, I do got one. I tell you what, I'm going to tease you what the next one's about.
Just a tease. I want to be surprised.
Just a tease. The title is Mind Control in Montreal.
All right, I'm sold. Already. You don't tell me anything more. I'm looking forward to this. No, I'm done. I'm done. It's good.
Mind Control in Montreal.
And you know what? I like this idea of teasing the next episode at the end of every episode. That's not a bad idea. Yeah.
If you want to learn about how mind control was implemented in Montreal, then tune in next week.
Okay. Oh, I'm excited. Excellent.
Cool. Great.
Oh, and if you want to say hi, leave us a SpeakPipe message. Go to speakpipe.com/Canadian Politics is Boring. Or if Reese decides this time to put the link in the show notes of whatever podcast you're listening to, just click on it with your thumb. And it'll take 2 seconds.
Whatever.
If he remembers, which I think you do remember, you just choose not to do it.
Yep. Bye, everyone.
Bye.